Shalom Aleichem, sweetest friends. We are continuing our previous shir on the inyan of Kibud of Aim. How awesome is that? In the previous shir, we saw that there's an inyan of Ben Adam LaMakom in Kibud of Aim, and also Ben Adam LaChaveiro, and we saw Nafkamina La'achar Moso. There you only have the Ben Adam LaMakom aspect, and we saw Lagabe Nachri. He only has the Ben Adam LaChaveiro aspect, and we saw various Nafkaminas. It was very, very exciting, and now we'll continue. In the Gemara in Kedushin, and Daf Lamed Gimel Lamed Beis, we say that a Talmid Chacham is not allowed to stand in front of his Rebbe more than twice a day, so that the kavod of the Rebbe is not greater than kavod Shemayim. But B'Kibud Av, it doesn't say this. It doesn't say you're not allowed to stand before your father twice. In the Aruch HaShulchan, in Yoredei Reish Mem, Sif Chav Daled, he has a suffix about this, about your father standing up in front of him more than twice a day. But it would appear that Kibud Av is different, that the mitzvah lechabdo is mishum kavod hamakom, and therefore it's not shaykh to say that his kavod shouldn't be meruba mi kavod shemaim, because his kavod is kavod shemaim. And so appears mafurish in the sugya that it says that Rabbi Yehuda would hear the footsteps of his mother. He would stand every time he would hear it, even more than twice a day. Rabbi Tarfon, whenever his mother would come, she would be able to climb up on him. So you see that these people, they would be mechabed as many times as necessary. In the Mahari Beirav on Kedushin, he says that this din of not standing up more than twice a day applies to your father just like it applies to the Rebbe, that the Gemara says. However, according to what we're saying, we could be mechalek and say that it's kavod shemayim. And since it's kavod shemayim, you can stand up as many times as you want. It's not more than kavod shemayim, because it is kavod shemayim. So it's a different category. And also you can say the other way, that Kibud Av is chov lachaveiro, and therefore you're chayv lamod lefanav b'chol eis, and there's no musig of merubim kavod shemayim, because it's a chov la'aviv, it's a piron chov. In Bav Mitzia Daf Lamed Beis Amud Aleph, it says, how do we know that if your father tells you to become tamei, if he's a kohen, or he says don't return an avedi, you shouldn't listen to him? It says the Yeshiva Aviv Torah Veshab Sasai Tishmaru Kulchem Chayav Mechvodi, you're all chayav in my kavod. So the only reason is because the Torah makes the special lashon of Yeshiva Aviv Torah Veshab Sasai Tishmaru. Otherwise you would have to listen to him. Why would that be? Why would you have to listen to him? To be over an aveira, high essay, high lois essay, this is only an assay, and becoming tamei, and Ashavas Aved is an essay and a lois essay. An assay is not allowed to be derech an essay and a lois essay. So the Gemara says, no, you need it. You would think that since there's a hekesh of Kibud of Aim, the kavod shel makom, as it says, kavod sevicha v'simecha and kavod shemei honcha. So you see there's a hekesh between Kibud of Aim and Kibud HaMakom. Therefore you should listen to your father even if he tells you to go against the Torah. Kamashman, you don't listen to him. In the Shimon Betzis, he brings the name of the Rosh. Akasha. How is there such a savamina that the essay of Kibud Av should be doiche? Even a regular lav, forget about an essay and a lois essay. Can't be. Because if your father tells you to do something, if you want to do something for your father, and he says that it's not necessary, he doesn't want you to do it for him, then there's no essay anymore. There's no essay, like we see it's referring to the Gemara in Ksubis and Daf Mem, where it talks there about a girl who's raped. So it says that the rapist has to marry her, he's chayiv. But if there's an isser and them to get married, he should marry her. What about Asay Techalo? So the answer is, it's a different type of Asay. Because she can say she's not interested. If she says she's not interested, there is no Asay. So if such an Asay, that if a person can say they're not interested, there's no longer an Asay, we don't say Asay Techalo, say here also, if the father says he's not interested, there is no Asay. So what's Pshat, that you have a Havamina, that it could be Techalo to say, Shtar Kasha, Shita Mukubetzis B'Shem HaRosh. So one answer he gives is that you can't compare, because there she can say, I'm not interested, so there's no essay. But here, if the father said that he's not interested, he's not mevatel the essay olamis, because he can be makayim in other ways. But if she says she doesn't want to get married, you're mevatel the essay olamis. So that's the chiluk. And therefore, here you can't say it's a weaker essay or a different type of essay, because he can say he's not interested, because it could be makayim in other ways. Another teretz, the second teretz, is that even if he says he doesn't want it, the essay is shaykh, because even if the father says he doesn't want it, it's still a mitzvah. And this is brought in the Tshuvas Haradbaz in Chelik Aleph Siman Tav Kuf Chaf Daled, and he concludes that the Ikar is like the second teretz, that even if the father was Meichel al Kavodo and he says, I don't want, there is still a mitzvah of Kibud brought in Rabbi Kiva Eger and the Pischei Tshuva in Yeridei and Siman Reish Mem, and so would appear from Taisus Yishanim in Ksubis Daf Mem Ayin Sham Heitev, and Rabbi Elchonon in the Kovetz Shiurim and Ksubis and Siman Kuf Mem Daled is Tamei on the Shita Mukubetzis. Me'echi Teisi, how does he know that there's a Kiyum mitzvah even after Mechilas Ha'av Ayin Sham in the Kovetz Shiurim? It would appear as follows, that the Sefer Hasidim writes in Tav Kuf Ayin Gimel that a father is Meichel and is covered, even though his covet is Machol B'dinei Adam, but B'dinei Shamayim, you still have to be Mechabed him. And we have to understand, if the Mechil of the Av is effective, so why is one still Chayev B'dinei Shamayim? If one, in other words, if he's Meichel, so B'dinei Adam, you're off the hook, but B'dinei Shamayim, you have to be Mechabed him. Why? He was Meichel. Av Shemachal al Kavoidoi, Kavoidoi Machol. So how can you say that B'dinei Shamayim, you still have to be Mechabed him, even if he was Meichel? In the Gemara in Kiddushin, and Daf Lamed Beis Amud Beis L'Gabe Kibud Harav, it says that Mechila is effective if the Rav is Meichel, because the Torah is his Torah. And we ask, Rav was Makbid when they didn't stand up in front of him, why couldn't he be Meichel? So the answer is that they should have been Mahader, that they want to stand up in front of him. So in other words, Rav said, yeah, I could be Meichel, but you still should have been Mahader and stood up a little bit, move a little bit to show that you want to stand up like people do today. Even when people are chayav to stand up in local muscle, like an old man walks by or a Rav, people just move a little bit. Seder, he should have at least done that, a little bit of Hiddur. Maybe they do that, maybe there's a Sum Nechila. Al Kopanim, that's what the Gemara says, that Rabbah was makbid, that they should have just moved a little bit, they didn't do anything. But Tzarchi and Lashita Sefer Chasidim, that even after the Mechila, you're still Chayiv B'dinei Shamayim. So maybe that's why he was makbid, because even after his Mechila, there was still a Chiyuv Midinei Shamayim to stand up. According to the Sefer Chasidim, that you still have to be Mechabed, even if he's Mochel, B'dinei Shamayim. And this is also shver according to the Shittum Gobetzis and the Radbaz we quoted, that there's Kiyum Mitzvah even after Mechila. Even after he's Mochel, there's still a Kiyum Mitzvah. So the Gemara should have said that he was Makbid, because even though he's Mochel, there's still a Kiyum Mitzvah. There's still Kibud. Because we can say the same thing that they said about Kibud Av, we can say about Kibud Rav, that even if he's Mochel and is covered, nevertheless, if you're Mechabed him, there's still a Kiyum Mitzvah. So Rabbi Lan Shlita is Mechadesh, that the Shita Mekubetzis and the Radbaz right, that even if the father was Mochel, there's a mitzvah. It's not pshat that after the father was Mochel, there's a mitzvah Kiyumis L'chavdo. No. What they mean is that there's even a Chiyuv mitzvah. Like the Sefer Chasidim writes, there's a Chiyuv B'dinei Shamayim. And the explanation is that since becovered of HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Ma'alani Aleichem Kilu Kibduni, and it's a mitzvah lamakom. And we said earlier that there are two elements to the mitzvah. There's one Kibud Lachaveira Karas HaTov La'avit, and there's another Kavod LaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's like a mitzvah lamakom, like we explained. So we can say that the Shita Mukubetzis and the Radbaz hold that the Mechila of the father is effective only on the Chiyuv Kibud, that's a mitzvah Lachaveira, that you're mechuyev to be mechabed your father. There, Mechilas Ha'av is effective, and it's like Kavod Harav, that it's Torah delay, and his Mechila is effective Legamre. And so too in this Chelek of a mitzvah's Kavod Av, which is delay, the father can be Mochel. But on the Chelek of mitzvah's Kibud Av, that it's mitzvah Ben Adam Lamakom, and this Mechilas Ha'av is not effective, and therefore also when the father was Mochel, there's still a mitzvah's Kibud Av mitzvah Kavod HaMakom, even though the Lashon Hashita Mukbetz and Radbaz is that there's a mitzvah of Kibud, and they don't write a mitzvah Lashon of Chiyuv. But B'das Sefer Chasidim, who writes that even if he was Mochel al Kavodo, if you're not Mechabedim, you're Chayiv B'dinei Shamayim, we're Muchach Lefaresh, like we said, that the Chiyuv is mitzad Kavod HaMakom, And on this, there's a chiyuv mamish. On this, mechilas av is ineffective. So that's what we want to say, that the chiyuv is bedine shamayim for kavod shamayim. The aspect of kibud av, that is because of kavod hamakom, that you're still chayav even after the mechila. So we can say that the nafkamina is that if he was mochel, since there's no longer a chiyuv lachaver, just a mitzvah lashamayim, so there the chiyuv would be only b'choymish minachasav. And it's like the ikar mitzvah kibud that we said earlier, that it's a choyv lo'avi, there's no chiyuv of chomish, it's the man the Amar Mishal Ben, because if it's a piron chol, whatever you have to pay. We know that priyas chol is whatever it costs. And it would also appear that there's an afkamina ba'aviv rosh shamochal al kavoida, that in such an instance the Sefer Hasidim would be moide that if he's mochel, there's no chiyuv lechabdo b'dinei shamayim. That since ba'aviv rosh the whole mitzvah lechabdo is only mitzvah the mitzvah lachavero, but there's no mitzvah lashamayim kilu kibduni. So if he's mochel, the whole mitzvah is nifkas, because mitzvah dinei ben adam lachavero he was mochel, and there is no mitzvah, there's no kavod shamayim when you're mechaved your father if he's a rasha. So according to this, we can say that what the Sefer Hasidim said, that even when the father is mochel on his kavod, you still have to be mechabed him b'din shamayim. That's only le'inyan kibud makom, that the le'inyan kibud av, about which it's hukash lekavod hamakom, kilu kibduni. That's a mitzvah lamakom, because le'inyan kavod hamakom, it's not considered delay, and therefore kavod mechilas av is not effective. But b'kavod harav, that the Yisod HaMitzvah is l'rabo machmas teiraso v'torah delay, and there it doesn't say on kavod harav that it's kavod hamakom. There, if the Rav is mochel, there's no mitzvah of kibud at all, and therefore it says in the Gemara that the Rav is mochel, his mechila is effective, and all the Talmud has to do is a little bit of hiddur, but no more than that. That's why Rav wasn't makbid that you should have gone beyond the letter. Even if I was mochel, you're still chayiv. No, because when it comes to a Rav, it's Torah delay, just like when it comes to a father. The delay part, he can be mochel, i.e. the ben adam chavero part. Just the ben adam makom part, he can't be mochel. So with mochel harav, we wouldn't say the fourth of the Sefer Hasidim that you're chayiv b'dinei shamayim, and therefore again, it's not a kasha from the Gemara in Kedushin why Rava wasn't makbid, because b'dinei shamayim is still chayiv. According to the Sefer Hasidim, that only applies to a father and not to a rebbe. Rebbe can be mochel because Torah is delay. Now that we have a halvamin in the Gemara, that there's kibud of, even if your father was mitzvah you to be over in divrei Torah, the Shita Mekubetzis writes that since hukash kvoidim lekavod hamakom, so therefore you would think that they're shavim him, and better do kavod aviv, and they can be makayim both, because kibud aviv is kavod hamakom. So therefore, that's the havamin of the Gemara, even though the father can say that he doesn't want. But still, here it's different, because here it's mamish kavod hamakom. So since it's kavod hamakom, it makes sense that it would be doiche and aveira. So you're makayim kibud aviv and kibud hamakom. And it's kedai me'od to learn a shtickle Meshech Chochma. The Meshech Chochma in Parashas Kedoshim was mechavein l'cha'ein divrei hashita mekubetzes, and that we have a havamina that kibud of will be a mitzvah even lavor al divrei Torah. He writes, "B'shmana dezeh eino mitzuyir b'seichel shemitzvah shminad lachaver yitcha eser dvar Torah." How could it be? U'v'zeh geder amri sur makam mono lo dechinan. It's in the same way Isser is not Deicha Mammon, so too the Mammon is not Deicha Isser, so Ben Al Chaver is not Deicha Ben Al Makom. So he says that Mishum Kavod Aviv V'imoi Yesh Ma Shenogea L'Adam L'Makom V'zeh Hergesh Dak Shekom Moistos HaKabbalah Me'ar Sinai O Kabbalah Ne'emana V'nitnan L'Moshe Misinai U'Misaru Ador Achar Dor L'Zarim Achareim V'Odiu Banim L'Vnei B'neim Yom Shamdu B'Chori V'chein Ad Olam V'im Dor Yevaza Aviv V'yilag L'Moisri HaKabbalah Was Posak Torah MiYisrael V'Lechein B'zeh Geder Yesh B'Kavod Aviv Gam Dvar Menogim Mitzvah Hashem B'Klal HaTorah L'chein Tzakadei T'chamina D'Litchi Kamashman D'Loi Dochi, a big yisod, a hergesh dak, that everything is tolerating being mechabe the parents. But it's not mechabe the parents, that they'll throw away the tradition also, because tradition was passed through the parents. So the mele, the whole kavod hamakom is talui in kavod of, kibud of. So the mele, there's a havamina that it's going to be doicha other mitzvahs. The whole Mesiris is talui in kibud of. But according to the Meshech Chochmah, if the father is a Rasha, so it's not shaykh to say he was Kemosrei Torah. And therefore the Chiyuv will only be Chiyuv Midin Chavero, not Ki'ilu Kibduni. And therefore, we understand that there's only a Havamina when it comes to Kavod of, that it should be Doicha Divrei Torah, but not Kavod Harav. You should listen to your Rav to be over in Divrei Torah, because only Kibud of, the Chiyuv and the mitzvahs, because of Kibud HaMakom, there's a Havamina, that there's a mitzvah to be over at Divrei Torah, while the Kibud Harav, that the mitzvah is only Mishum Kavod Harav, because Torah Dilehu, it's Pashut, that Lavral Divrei Torah, one is not Chayiv Be Kavod Harav, because it's only, well, it's Kavod HaMakom, because he's Mosrei Torah. But Kibud Harav, where the Chiyuv is because Torah Dilehu, because it's his Torah, and therefore since he has Torah, you're chayiv to mechabed him. So what right does he have with his Torah to tell you to be over al divrei Torah? There's no havamina. But the father, who's vodatim levanecha v'nei yom sharmata fnei Hashem elokecha b'chorei, him, there is yes a havamina. Even though one could argue on that point and say the Rav also, the word of Torah delay is only because that only shows why he can be mochel on his covet. But the Rav is also moser to shinantul v'necha zelu talmidecha. It's pashut that it goes from Rav to Talmud. So maybe there would be the same havamina. It's one nekuda. There are other nekudas that one can discuss here and be marich, but kansi lamilin asim. We're going to conclude here. Ourselves a baracha, which we zacha lumol dulamid lishma las l'kaim skol l'vei salm t'ras v'havo, amen v'amen, shalom shalom, sweetest and most beloved friends.